Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
The Bloodline saga seemingly concluded earlier this year. However, Paul Heyman has once again sparked heat, as the Wiseman took shots at Jacob Fatu following WWE SmackDown. Roman Reigns regained his Zula Fala by defeating Solo Sikoa cleanly in the debut episode of Raw on Netflix on January 6, which also marked the end of the family feud. The Hall of Famer shared a picture with Morton's chef on his X/Twitter account, where Paul Heyman appeared in rare casual clothes and looked rather irritated while the chef was throwing the "We the One" sign. Heyman captioned the image, mentioning that when someone travels overseas without sleep and a famous chef wants to prepare food for you. He also seemingly took a dig at the Samoan werewolf, stating that the person who cooked food was not Jacob Fatu. When you fly back and forth over the ocean with zero sleep, and Morton's #1 steak chef insists on cooking for you personally, and no, that's not Jacob Fatu," wrote Heyman. Roman Reigns was seemingly upset with Paul Heyman following SmackDown. The latest episode of SmackDown saw Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns confronting each other in the squared circle. The verbal spat soon turned into a brawl. Nick Aldis and security intervened to separate the three megastars as the show went off the air. After the chaos, WWE officially confirmed the rumored triple threat match featuring Punk, Rollins, and Reigns. However, during the segment, the Stamford-based promotion set the foundation for Roman and Paul Heyman's potential breakup. Punk was the last to enter the ring, where he thanked Heyman for serving the OTC in front of him, making it sound like the Wiseman and the best in the world had baited Reigns. This left Roman Reigns perplexed, and he turned around to confront his Wiseman. However, before Roman could say anything, Punk attacked the 39-year-old star from behind. Reigns might be upset with Paul Heyman and may seek answers. With the show of shows looming, it will be interesting to see how the triple threat saga unfolds in the coming weeks. The lights had barely dimmed on WWE SmackDown, but the tension within the Bloodline continued to intensify. Ever since Roman Reigns' absence, Solo Sikoa had taken control of the faction, flanked by the monstrous Jacob Fatu and the emerging Tanga Loa. But cracks were already beginning to show, and Paul Heyman, the ever-calculating wise man, had taken notice. And on this particular night, following another dominant but chaotic showing by the Bloodline, Heyman decided to send a subtle yet powerful message, one aimed directly at Jacob Fatu. The aftermath of SmackDown. WWE SmackDown had ended with the Bloodline leaving carnage in their wake. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tanga Loa had brutally dismantled the Street Profits in the main event. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins never stood a chance against the raw brutality of Fatu and Loa, with Solo executing the finishing blow, an emphatic Samoan spike to Ford that left the crowd in stunned silence. Yet, as the Bloodline stood tall, there was an unspoken energy in the air. Paul Heyman, standing behind Solo, seemed almost hesitant in his celebration. His eyes lingered on Jacob Fatu for just a second too long, his expression unreadable. That subtle moment did not go unnoticed. Backstage, as WWE personnel scrambled around following the show, reporters and digital team members rushed to catch reactions. Paul Heyman, however, was already making his move. Heyman's subtle dig, a masterclass in manipulation. As Heyman walked down the hallway, flanked by WWE interviewers, he was asked about the Bloodline's latest dominant display. The wise man, ever the master of words, smirked before carefully choosing his response. The Bloodline is a dynasty. A lineage of greatness that stands above all? What you saw tonight. It was dominance. It was destruction. But let's not forget, true dominance is measured by intelligence, not just brute force. After all, power without control is nothing but chaos. And in the Bloodline, we do not embrace chaos. We shape it. The words were spoken calmly, but the message was clear. Paul Heyman was taking a calculated shot at Jacob Fatu, the wild card of the Bloodline. Fatu, known for his unpredictable, wrecking ball style of offense, had been key to the Bloodline's recent victories. But his aggression had also led to several near disqualifications, and some within the WWE universe speculated whether Heyman truly saw him as an asset, or a liability. Heyman's remark about power without control was no accident. It was a veiled warning. Jacob Fatu's reaction. Backstage, the Samoan werewolf wasn't one to miss a challenge. Fatu, still hyped from his performance, was reviewing highlights with his cousins when he caught wind of Heyman's comments. His expression hardened. Control? What does he mean by control? Fatu growled, his fists clenching. Solo Sikoa, sitting beside him, glanced at the screen before shifting his gaze to his younger cousin. "You think he's doubting you?" Solo asked, his voice low. Fatu let out a dry laugh. "I don't care what Heyman thinks. But if he's got something to say, he better say it to my face." The tension in the room thickened. Even Tangaloa, usually the silent enforcer, raised an eyebrow at the brewing conflict. Heyman and Solo, a strategic meeting. Meanwhile, in another part of the arena, Heyman and Solo Sikoa were having a private conversation. "Solo, I have served your family for decades. I know how to guide this empire. And let me be honest with you, Jacob Fatu is a storm waiting to destroy everything we've built." Solo leaned back, arms crossed. He respected Heyman's wisdom, but Fatu was blood. "He gets the job done, wise man. That's all that matters." Heyman's expression remained calm, but his voice dropped to a whisper. "Does he? Or is he an uncontrollable force that could turn on you the moment it suits him?" Solo didn't respond right away. He had seen Fatu's unpredictable rage firsthand. While the Samoan werewolf was family, Heyman's words had a ring of truth to them. "We don't need another Roman," Heyman continued. "We need someone who leads with strategy, not just brutality." The bloodline's future, a brewing conflict. Jacob Fatu, despite his loyalty to the family, had always been his own man. And now, Heyman's subtle dig had set off a fuse. Would Fatu prove that his raw, violent style was exactly what the bloodline needed? Or would Heyman's influence push Solo Sikoa to rethink his leadership and control over his cousin? One thing was clear, the bloodline was shifting, and the cracks within were growing. And Paul Heyman? He was watching, waiting, and, as always, pulling the strings.